Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roller Coaster History Podcast. You are listening to Airtime Traveler. My name is Nathan Grace, and as always, I'm joined by my wife and lovely co-host.
Hey, I'm Haley Grace.
And thank you for tuning in to this trip report. We're trying to crank these out as fast as we can, make sure we get them all finished up before season 2 of Airtime Traveler starts on April 6th. So we'll have to figure out which ones, because we at least have Cedar Point left that we need to do, but then Carowinds and Kennywood were just short little day trips, and I wasn't with Haley for those, so we'll have to figure out how we'll do those trip reports. But today we're going to be talking about our trip to Hersheypark that was this summer, and we'll also probably kind of throw in some of our thoughts from the 2021 trip to Hersheypark.
Yeah, for sure.
Just because we weren't doing the podcast back then, and some of the things we did then we didn't do this time around. So we'll just we may throw in a few things from 2021. So also, in case, usually we would put the dog away, but since we're just doing a trip report, it's a little bit more casual. So if you hear some sniffing in the background, it might be our dog. Anyway, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, usually we are covering the history of individual roller coasters. So we have 19 episodes of Airtime Traveler that we did this past year. Be sure to go and check those out. And then we've done some trip reports as we've gone to different parks throughout the year, and so I think this was our 4th trip report that we've done. So you can go and check out some of the other ones that we did. And then we have a few episodes of coaster conversations, just a few things here and there that we talk about in the coaster industry. I just posted an episode recently talking about Silver Dollar City's announcement. So if you want to go hear my thoughts on that announcement from Silver Dollar City, be sure to go check out the latest episode of Coaster Conversations. And I think that's my whole spiel. Anything else we need to cover at the top of the episode?
No, you spilled good.
I spilled a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into Hersheypark. So first thing I want to say, Haley has been to Hersheypark more times than I have, right? How many times have you been?
To the actual amusement park, I think I've been 2 more times than you've been.
So
I really haven't
4
been.
times, so you weren't going there every year or whatever.
No,
it was more just.
No, I mean it was a decently close park, but not close enough that we went all the time.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. So because it's what it was like 3.5 hours. Yeah. So from where Haley's from, and so but so we got to go last year, and that I would say Hersheypark was probably the first major roller coaster park that you and I went to together, because we had been to Silver Dollar City and Kennywood, which both have 4 or 5 decent roller coasters, but Hersheypark was the first major amusement park we went to.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider Hersheypark probably top 10 in the country as far as roller coasters are concerned. So so I've been really impressed with Hersheypark. We'll talk about it as we go through, but I think the format we've usually followed is food and then non-roller coaster rides. Well, food, atmosphere, non-roller coaster rides, and then roller coasters. Yeah, sound good?
Yep. So
let's start with the food. That's usually your favorite part.
It is my favorite part. As much as I love Hershey for the ambiance and the rides, I wasn't as impressed with the food at Hershey. A lot of people know by now that if you've listened to a couple other of our trip reports or even our regular episodes, I'll talk about my food allergies, and so they don't have a lot of options for my food allergies. The second time we went, I feel like there was more, but the first time we went, I felt like there was really only Chick-fil-A that offered the grilled chicken nuggets, which were a little bit more allergy friendly. But I know that you loved the food, you had a
Yeah, I think the thing with Hersheypark, because because I'm just kind of scrolling through the food here. There's not like anything that really stands out.
Right.
Like I know they've got the chocolatier, which is like their really, really nice sit down restaurant, but we didn't get a chance to do that. So I know that's like their signature restaurant. But then everything else is just kind of, I mean, they have the 1906 grill, which I've heard is really good, but we didn't get a chance to do that.
Mm-mm.
Um, but then they kind of just have a lot of fast food. Like they have Chick-fil-A, they have Chicky and Pete's, Dispatch Pizzeria. What else they got on here? Moe's Southwest, Nathan's Hot Dog. So they just kind of have a lot of stuff that you can get outside of the park. So I think for me, and like I know that there's probably some stuff, unless they have Subway. Like I know there's some stuff in here that probably, if you're a diehard Hersheypark fan, you're probably looking at us like, I can't
How
believe
could they
you
not?
didn't go
Yeah.
to da 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 da. And you might be right. Like I see like Spring Creek Smokehouse on here. Like that sounds like a really good place, but we just didn't go to it. So I don't know if
I'm just trying to remember even like the places that we went
honestly
to.
for you, I think we really just did Chick-fil-A because the other thing that was difficult with our Hersheypark trips compared to some of the other ones we've talked about is both of our Hersheyparks, it was just one day. Right? No, actually our first trip was 2 days, wasn't it?
But it rained.
But it did rain the first day, and then we didn't stay the whole day the second day. So it was kind of like a day and a half, and then the second trip was just a day. So it wasn't like Cedar Point where we were there for 3 days, or Kings Island where we were there for 3 days. So, and the park is crazy busy, like way busier than any of the Cedar Fair parks we've been to, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because we've only been able to do Hersheypark in July, so we've only gone during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's about the same as the Cedar Fair parks if we had gone the time of year we went to the Cedar Fair parks.
Right.
So, but it was very busy both times we went to Hersheypark.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will say that one of the things, they've got the app quite well with filtering out like the places that I could eat at and places I can't eat at, like on their app. And I do remember the one place that we went to was like a food court kind of feel. Do you remember
oh,
that?
was it that one that was just outside of Jolly Rancher Remix?
Something like that. But it was like a
Yeah.
food court, and we went and like got our food
Yeah, because you
and like
guys sat there
down
while
on the bench. No, that was a different one. But there was another one that was like I like went and got and ordered like a pizza, I think.
Oh, while we went and rode Wildcat
Yes, and
or
then
Fahrenheit,
something like that.
I can't remember now.
They did a pretty good job. I felt like we all ate there, but maybe I'm misspeaking.
Man, I can't remember now.
I can't remember, but I feel like we ate there. I think it was called Overlook Food Court, but I might be wrong.
I'm trying to see Overlook Food Court.
Anyways, we ate somewhere, and I remember them like.
Oh, yeah, I recognize this place now. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's over by Great Bear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, we ate there, and I felt like what they did an exemplary job at was they had like a station that you can go, like if you had like an allergy, they had a station to order allergy.
I remember that now, yeah.
Friendly things, and it was great, and it was decently busy. Like I feel like a lot of like parks don't recognize how much food allergies are a thing now. So
yeah.
but I loved it. I do say would love to see more added to menus in that sense, and maybe next time we go we do say, okay, let's set a time to go to the 1906 grill or the chocolatier or whatever. So
yeah, I do remember that place now. If I remember correctly, you got a pizza there. And it was
decent.
It was decent.
It wasn't
so
too bad.
It wasn't the best like allergy-friendly pizza you've had, but it was definitely better than some of the other allergy-friendly pizzas you've had. So it's kind of middle of the road as far as it was concerned. I think I actually finished it for you. Like I think you might kind of
right.
enjoyed it. I was like, oh, this is not bad. So okay, I do remember that. So we did go to the Overlook. Okay, so that's just a food court, so it's nothing too fancy or anything, but I do remember liking the
You
food
guys
there. So
had that like hoagie thing.
that was the first trip we went. That we got that at
Oh,
Chicky and Pete's. We got like that. It was a massive, like I think a buffalo chicken cheesesteak,
yep.
and it was so
It
huge. We
was
were like,
huge.
we were like, we could order one of these for the three of us. Instead, we ordered three of them. I
Yep.
remember that. Yeah. So, but that's pretty good. That's just I think a local chain in the area, so nothing too crazy, but it was good. So I think the other thing that's difficult for us, more so for you, is I know one of the big things at Hersheypark is their desserts, right? Like that's
Right.
they have like those massive craft milkshakes with like Reese's and
Right.
Hershey bars like exploding off the side and like,
They didn't have
but obviously you
anything.
can't have any of
Yeah,
that.
so I
So
wish they almost had like an allergy friendly like milkshake or something. So I feel like places that do that fun stuff, like they have allergy friendly things there.
mhm. I
So
feel like Hershey's still kind of getting to the allergy friendly thing because like I don't really recall like just thinking through Hershey's products.
they don't
They
have
don't really
a,
have anything that they're doing that's like allergy friendly versions of their
yeah.
current products.
I
So
know that they tried doing one, but it was very limited to the stores that they were selling it
yeah,
at.
because didn't we try to go into the store afterwards to find it and we couldn't?
We couldn't find it,
I'm
yeah.
like, if we can't find it at Hershey,
It's
the
the
store,
park, yeah.
the Hershey store, then where are we gonna find this? I don't even. Was it a dairy free?
It was a dairy-free chocolate
Is
bar,
that what it was? Yeah.
and I was super excited to try it, but they didn't even have it like in the
I
warehouse,
wonder.
which
I'm
of
curious
all the
now.
places you would think it would
I know.
be. Nope.
Hmm. Yeah, I see it right here. Hershey's oat made chocolate bars. Yeah, right here. So I'm like, yeah, why couldn't we have found these in the Hershey store of all places? It's very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, plant-based chocolate confection. Yeah,
Ugh, I would have loved that.
I know. It's like why couldn't we find that at Hershey of all
Um,
places? So very strange.
maybe one day.
Maybe. So our food. I think food is probably the least impressive thing to us at Hersheypark.
Yeah,
Where
probably.
some of the other parks we've been like, oh my gosh, the food was amazing. Whereas Hershey was kind of, meh, it's fine. But I think everything else Hersheypark, well, yeah, I'd say the other parts of Hersheypark definitely excel, especially the coasters, which we will get to. But to talk, so I think that pretty much covers everything food.
Yeah.
So I think to move on to atmosphere, I really like the atmosphere as a whole at Hershey. Like it just feels very fun and lively and
Yeah.
upbeat. Um, like it's just a very enjoyable atmosphere. It feels almost like going to a really big carnival,
Yeah.
but like less like I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this because like carnival. When I think of carnival, I think like kind of cheap rides and like actors and stuff like that and sketchy roller coasters and
Right. No, I think
but it's like kind of the same atmosphere in the sense
like
that
they had
like
like the carnival games, and they had um like the different food, like a lot of food trucks is what,
mm-hmm.
like with food, like there was a lot of food trucks.
But
There
like the
wasn't
park doesn't necessarily have like themed
themes, right? Yeah,
areas,
right, right.
so it's just kind of all one big amusement park theme. It's not. I would not call it a theme park. It's definitely just an
Right,
amusement park. So,
right.
which
But
is fine. I mean,
I
the
mean, because
candy is really the theme, right?
it's not even in the
Well,
theme.
it is, but it isn't.
No, it's
The
not.
candy is everywhere, but the coasters aren't necessarily themed to candy, if that makes
That's
sense.
just dumb, but we'll get into that later. I have very opinionated opinions on the coasters names.
Yeah, but But yeah, it's not a bad atmosphere. It's just different from
Mm-hmm.
like some of these other parks where like the rides have a very like a ride may have a very highly themed queue
Mm-hmm.
with a backstory and everything. Hershey really doesn't have
They don't.
anything like that. I'm kind of going through the coasters in my head. I couldn't tell you a coaster that has a backstory or anything. It's just kind of
I
all
don't think they
generic.
do.
So, which is fine. I mean, that's the parks have their you know that they're able to run things the way they want,
Right.
but I don't necessarily think that's like I don't know. It works for Hersheypark just because I think that's kind of how the park is designed. I I I guess what is kind of confusing to me is like some of the themed areas make like they've named them almost like they're trying to go with a certain theme,
Right.
like because like Trailblazer and Storm Runner are in the Pioneer Frontier section of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like that section of the park's supposed to have like a
A
Western thing
theme.
going for it. But then they went and took Sidewinder and turned it into Jolly Rancher Remix.
Right.
So it's like, okay, if you're going for a Western thing,
You got it
that's
wrong.
completely out the window now. So, and I think they've probably recognized that. I think they recognize that the whole themed area thing's just kind of gone at the park.
Right.
So there's no point in sticking with it. So,
Right. I mean, but it's kind of a hodgepodge. I mean, they have a whole freaking zoo in the park, which
which
is
we never even touched the zoo
no,
while we were there.
not the second time. The first time we did.
I didn't. I don't know if you and your brother did.
Oh,
I
that was
think.
me and Ben that did
I
that.
think
Yeah.
you. I think me and your dad went to ride Fahrenheit, and you and your brother went and did the zoo or something like that. So
I think you're right. So, because I didn't want to ride it and Ben didn't want to ride it.
yeah. I think so.
So, it
But
was
yeah,
just too many loops
I
upside
have
downs
I
for
have
me.
not been to the Zoo America. I think
It's
is what they call it.
interesting. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say like a lame zoo, because I mean, I think they did a okay job with what they had, but
It's not Busch Gardens or SeaWorld.
yeah, it's definitely not like your typical lions and tigers. It's more like deer.
Zoo America.
And
It's only
wolves.
American animals.
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is. I don't think there is any like foreign animals.
I guess that's the idea.
Yeah.
I'm
so
curious.
it's
What
like,
is this? I want to see if I can find it on here now. But oh yeah, here it is. Zoo America. What does it say? Our year-round 11-acre zoo is home to animals found in North America and included with your one-price Hersheypark ticket. Well, there you go. It's only North American animals. Oh, meet the animals. What do we got here? Bats.
Yep.
Alligators.
Yep.
Beaded lizard. Ocelot. Gray wolf. Black bear. Mountain lion. Otters.
Her bears were asleep when we went.
Alligator, snapping turtle. White-tailed deer. A lynx. Anyway, there's a decent amount on here, but you get the idea. It's nothing. I have a bald eagle. Okay, that's cool.
They were kind of boring.
So, but yeah, I don't think the good thing with Hersheypark is, as far as atmosphere is concerned, it's like I don't like. I feel like some parks are trying to have themed areas and just doing a bad job at it. Like that's kind of what like the Kings Island thing with like Banshee having a great theme but being in the middle of a non-themed area just feels kind of weird. But there's not really any of that going on at Hersheypark. It's just kind of everything doesn't really have a theme.
Yeah.
Which works.
It works for them,
so,
right?
Yeah. So, but like I said, I do enjoy the atmosphere. It's just a very fun candy chocolate smell everywhere atmosphere.
It's true. It's true. If you don't like the smell of chocolate, it's not really the place to be.
That is true.
So
I think that kind of covers atmosphere. Like I said, there's not like a ton to cover there, um, so let's just jump into the rides, I guess. Right? Is there really
Yeah.
anything else to talk about?
No.
I don't think so. So, I will say the one thing we really didn't do while we were there, we never really touched the water park,
No, we didn't go to the water park at
which
all.
I understand is a really, really good water park. They've got a lot to do and a lot of slides. So, I do recognize that they have a really good water park. We just never really had the
Had the
time,
opportunity
yeah,
to
to
go.
go check that out. So we won't be talking about the water park, but I do know that they have a really good one. I'm just gonna kind of scroll through here to see
We went on the
any of the
kissing
rides.
tower.
We did do so. We didn't do Coal Cracker either of the times we went there.
Which one's the
That's
coal
the. It's
cracker?
like it's like a boat ride.
Mm.
It's kind of like a log flume, but it's not logs. It's like actually little boats. I guess it's celebrating its 50th anniversary. I think I saw on
Oh,
social
really?
media yesterday. So yeah, really impressive. And both times I went on Great Bear, it's right next to the queue there. And I remember watching, just be like, man, we should go on that. And then just both times we just didn't
Didn't.
have time.
Yeah, I mean, with how limited our time was with trying to get all of the coasters in,
It's tough
it's so tough.
because of how busy it is. Like if you have one day there, it's really hard to get everything in. In fact, I think the second time we went, not only did we not get on every coaster, but I think every coaster we did get on, we only did one time.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think there's any that we did multiple times. And I know the second time we didn't do Laugh Track or Comet.
Or Reese. No, we did do
We did
Reese
we did
Cup.
do Lightning Racer. So
No, Reese Cup Fusion as well.
oh, the Cup Fusion, yeah, we did.
Which that ride is stellar.
We gonna talk. So I guess we're just gonna talk Reese's Cup Fusion.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I really liked it. I love shooting rides. I think they're a lot of fun.
That is the one ride in the park that has a theme,
Right.
but the theme is still candy.
Right. Right. But I thought they did a great job with it. I mean, not only do they do a great job with the theming, but like the actual like little shooters like are fantastic. You got a laser that like points directly where you're shooting at.
Yeah, we've been on a lot of shooting rides in the last year, and that ride, I'm trying to think of I think that's probably the best shooting
one.
ride I've been on.
Except for like Disney does a good job with their
Well,
shooting
I'm trying to
rides.
think because like Buzz Lightyear is decent,
The
but it
Toy
is
Story
outdated.
one, Toy
Toy Story
Mania.
Mania is pretty good too. I would say those two are on par with each other, probably.
Right.
I'm trying to. Is it Sal? Who does the? I'm curious now. I want to know what company did Reese's Cup Fusion. Because it is done very well, and the technology
well.
behind it is really fun.
Yeah, like they have.
Okay, it was Sally Rides. I thought it
Right.
was Sally Rides that did. Sally Rides does some really good dark ride stuff.
Right.
So
They did a great job with like actually like lining up the shooters with where you're aiming, and then not only that.
well,
but,
and
like,
it's all done with. So if you haven't been to Reese's Cup Fusion, do they? I don't think you have 3D glasses, do you? I don't think so. But it's all done on screens. But when you shoot your gun, you can actually see the laser from your gun will show up on the screen,
right.
like going from the bottom of the screen up to where you were shooting. And like each person has a different colored gun, so you can see exactly where you're shooting.
Right.
And like some of the targets are physical targets and some are digital targets that are on the screen. So you kind of get a nice mixture of physical
like, yeah,
and
animatronic and stuff like that. So.
And digital, yeah. So
yeah, it was fun. I really
and the vehicles
it.
they actually like there's like some hills and stuff that
right.
like it's not just completely flat.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's super cheesy, like the characters. They're all candy themed,
right?
Corny,
very
Hershey,
right?
Whatever. But like the ride itself makes it like a worthwhile experience, and it always has a really long line.
It does have a very, very long line, I will admit
Especially if it rains.
Oh, yeah.
Because then it's like the only headline attraction that's open.
Right.
So.
Which is kind of...
I think when we went there the first day and it was raining when we got to the
It was
park.
like a 4-hour wait.
I think it was 3. I
insane.
think we waited in line for 3 hours. It said like 90 minutes and it ended
And then
up being 3
like
hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That is probably the longest I've ever waited in a line
For
anything.
Like, even in Disney World, I don't feel like we've
Which
waited
is
that long.
really funny to say with all the trips I've taken to Disney World. That Reese's Cup Fusion is the ride I've waited the longest for.
Yep.
But I think it's the truth. I think it's
so
true.
Was it worth it?
I mean,
not the first time, I don't think.
Well, and because that day it was the only thing that was open, yeah, it was still worth it.
Yeah.
Now, if it was sunny out and the wait was 3 hours, would I wait?
No.
No, I would not wait 3 hours to go on it. But when it's the only thing that's open, like, what else are you gonna do?
Right.
So that's funny.
Right.
You mentioned Kissing Tower.
Right, we did do that.
So for Kissing Tower is just their observation tower. It's been there a really long time. Gosh, I think not since the park opened, but let's see. Oh, I thought it would have the year on here. I'm not sure. It's been there a very long time. The first time we went 2 years ago, it was down for refurbishment, but the second time we went, it was open. It's fine.
Yeah.
The windows are shaped like Hershey Kisses.
Kind of distorts your view a little bit.
Very much distorts your view. So from the outside, it looks great. It looks very aesthetically pleasing. But the second you get inside the tower, you can't see anything because it's all distorted.
And like it spun too, which was kind of annoying because it was like Nathan was hoping to get...
I was hoping I could get some good pictures of the coasters,
right?
And between the distortion and the spinning, like
there was no way that it was going to work.
No good pictures. But that's okay. Let's see, just kind of going through here.
I don't think we did any.
We didn't do like a ton of flat rides. We didn't do the monorail. I wanted to, but again, we didn't really have time. Or like the Sky View, we didn't do that either, which I would have liked to do. But honestly, that's pretty much everything we did as far as flat rides are concerned.
The coasters were such a main priority that.
If I had been dressed to get wet, I would have loved to do Tidal Force. But I was not. I did not want to get that wet.
No,
but
thank you.
I did love watching Tidal Force. Like just seeing the huge splash that the ride made.
Oh yeah.
It was it's I don't remember if you remember, it's this one that's like kind of in between the dry park and the water park.
Yep.
So
because I remember like getting wet from it.
Just from walking past on the sidewalk.
It.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this really shoots you with water.
Yeah, it was an impressive splash that I made. So I think your dad and Ben did the bumper cars.
I think they did. That sounds like something my brother would do.
I don't know, is it fender bender? Yeah, that's the bumper cars. Yeah. We didn't do the Ferris wheel either.
No, I'm okay.
It's not that tall. It's not like the one
I'm
in
okay.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like any Ferris wheels?
Nope.
That's so sad. Their Ferris wheel's iconic. Yeah, we just really didn't get a chance to do a lot of flat rides just because we were just hard pressed to get as many of the coasters in as we could before we had to leave the park. So
could you imagine me on the Disneyland Ferris wheel though?
The one with the swinging cars.
Please no.
That would be quite the adventure.
That would be awful. I would not like that.
All right. Well, why don't we just jump into the roller coasters then, huh?
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, I'm going to open up our coaster bot rankings here. I'm going to go from lowest rank to highest rank. The only one I've got to add in here, because it's not in the coaster bot rankings right now, is Wildcat. So, for those of you that aren't familiar, we've talked about this several times, but at this point, Wildcat was our second episode of Airtime Traveler, and so we've shared some of our thoughts from riding Wildcat in that episode. But since we went to Hersheypark, between then and now, they closed down Wildcat and announced that RMC would be coming in and converting it into Wildcat's Revenge. Which, have I showed you pictures, by the way, of how it's coming along?
No,
Here,
you haven't.
let me pull up some pictures while we're talking. But they made the announcement that it would be closing. There you go. Here's a picture for you so far. Let's kind of...
Oh, looks so good.
Yep, so there's one. They made the announcement before we got to the park that they would be closing Wildcat's Revenge. They didn't say what they would be closing it for, but we knew that when we were going, we knew that would be our last time to ride Wildcat, which was cool because we had...
I didn't go on it though. I was not feeling
No,
good.
you weren't feeling good. And you had been on it before,
right.
so it's like
it wasn't the end of the world for me.
But and I knew it was going to be rough. There was a reason that they closed it. but just for the history, like you had to get one more ride on it just because it was going to be closing, and got to get that last ride on it because it's never going to get to ride it again. So
I know.
So
Fire in the Hole is closing.
I know, it's so sad. So we'll have to
sad.
get some last rides on that one too. But
let's just not take Parker again on that one.
So I think Wildcat's Revenge is going to be a serious contender for best coaster in the park. I think CoasterBot rankings, when they come out, just based on what I know about coaster enthusiasts, I'm going to guess it's going to end up being number 2 behind SkyRush.
I don't
Well,
understand
spoilers. We'll talk about Haley's opinion on SkyRush, but yeah, I think I will personally like it the best, but I do know that there's some SkyRush fanboys that will put it higher. So that's Wildcat. That one's obviously, since it's closed right now, it's not in the CoasterBot rankings. Trailblazer is the next lowest. We actually did not ride that one the second time.
We did it the first time.
Yeah, we rode it one time. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just a family coaster.
Well, family mining coaster. I mean,
right.
Yeah. Nothing to write home about.
Ben still thought it was crazy. You remember that?
Her brother's
Ben
not
was
big
like,
on roller coasters.
I'm not getting on that again. And we're like, Ben, it wasn't even that bad.
This is the tamest thing in the park.
It's like, no, I'm not doing it. Can't make me.
Next up is Wild Mouse.
Yeah,
it's a wild mouse.
It's a wild mouse.
You didn't even write it.
That's not true.
No, you didn't. Wild Mouse. You did not ride Wild Mouse.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking of one of the King's Dominion or King's Island.
Apple's Apple.
That's the one I rode.
Yes, you rode Apple's Apple with me. You did not ride Wild Mouse when we went to Hersheypark, though, which is fine because it's, I don't know. It's an older Wild Mouse too. It was built in '99, so it's not like, I think Apple's Apple was built in the 2010, so that one's a newer one. So then next up is Jolly Rancher Remix. Okay, here's the thing. So first of all, Haley did not go on Jolly Rancher.
No way. I took one look at that thing. I'm like, nope.
And when we went the first time, it was just Trailblazer. That was before they had announced the conversion. And I did not ride it then because, I don't know. At that point, I wasn't really counting credits. I was just kind of starting to get into counting credits and like ranking the coasters I'd been on.
Right.
And so I really was just writing the things I wanted to and didn't write anything that was kind of for me. But this time around, I knew they had done the whole re-theme, and I didn't have the credits. So I was like, okay, got to give it a shot.
Oh.
Well, I think what they've done with the ride is really interesting. Like, I think they've taken a run-of-the-mill Vekoma boomerang that every other park in the country has and turned it into something that's totally unique that no other park has. So I think that's really smart to do what they did.
Right.
Give it a candy theme so it fits in with the park. The randomly selected song choice is a great idea, and like the ride having going along with the music is really cool. The only gripe I have about the ride is the flavor sense in the tunnel, and I got super sick riding Jolly Rancher Remix, and I went on 2 other boomerangs this summer that did not make me sick. So I don't know if it was just a bad day. I do think I forgot to put my motion sickness bands
Which
on.
made it 10 times worse.
So that may have been it. Maybe it was the scent in the tunnel, because it was we got cherry as our flavor, and so it was like a fake cherry scent. So
nasty. I'm so glad I didn't go on it. I'm so glad. I do not do cherry, like anything.
Yeah, Haley, I love cherry flavored and cherry scented things, but Haley,
even their cherry Jolly Ranchers, I'm like, no. No.
I'm like Code Red, Mountain Dew, nope, just nothing cherry.
I won't do it.
Will you eat fresh cherries?
No.
No, really? That surprises me, because the reason you don't like cherry is because of like your medicine for being a kid, but that's like cherry flavoring. It's not fresh cherry.
I don't know. I don't like cherries.
Interesting.
There you go. You learned something new about me.
Always learning. But yeah, I think the ride in theory is very good, and I probably will try it again the next time we go to Hershey and just make sure I put my motion sickness bands on, and maybe it'll be better. But
well, we'll see.
Yeah, it was fine. What did surprise me is it actually dropped 13 spots in the CoasterBot rankings.
Really?
I was like, that's weird. Why would it drop 13 spots after being rethemed? I don't know what that's about. It was very strange. I was surprised about that.
Because they don't like the smell.
I mean, I guess maybe other people have the same problem with it.
Just doesn't like the smell's nauseating.
Huh. I might ask some people on social media because I'm kind of curious about that now, what other people's thoughts are.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Because a lot of people were talking about it initially, but now it's it's been a while since it opened, so now it's kind of a has been. So, interesting. Next up is Laugh Track. We did that one.
Laugh Track.
Yeah, it's not bad. We did Laugh Track the first time we went, not the second time. We only got one ride on it, but I remember being impressed.
Yes.
I was not expecting much because I knew it was just an indoor family spinning coaster.
Right.
And I'm not crazy on spinning coasters. They can tend to make me nauseous sometimes. But I had a lot of fun.
It was surprisingly a lot of fun. So
the theme is odd.
It is odd.
Doesn't really fit in with
anything
else in the park.
Right, definitely that carnival thing.
Yeah, it's again. Like Carnival Funhouse, which I don't know. It doesn't really match with. I mean, it's right next to Wildcat's Revenge now.
Yeah.
And Lightning Race. I don't know. Just that's the one ride in the park that the theme just kind of makes me go, why?
Why?
I'm not sure why, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. There's been very few coasters I've ridden that afterwards I just am like, that was really smooth. Most coasters that, most modern steel coasters I get off saying that was very smooth. But there's only been, I'll say, there's probably only been 3 rides that I can remember just getting off and being like, wow, that was just smooth as glass.
Mm-hmm.
It was Seven Dwarfs Mine Train the first time I rode that. Cosmic Rewind,
right.
But that one's brand new, so it should be. And then Laugh Track of all rides. I don't know if it's because it's indoors out of the elements, but I just remember being like, whoa, that was just silky smooth ride experience.
Right. It was fun.
So, yeah. It was very fun. Next up is Super Duper Looper.
Super duper looper.
Super Duper Looper.
I did go on that one, right?
Yeah, we went on it one time, our first trip. We did not ride it the second trip. I'm realizing now how many coasters we didn't ride the second time. Must have just not had the time for them, but I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's a typical like old. It was built in 1977, so it's definitely an older steel coaster.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that really stuck out to me from the ride that I still remember to this day is just how intense the loop was.
Right.
And then the rest of the ride's just kind of, it kind of just makes it slowly ups and down helixes back to the station. But the one loop at the very beginning of, right after the first
The
drop,
famous super duper
the
loop.
famous super duper loop. The soup dupe loop.
Soup dupe loop.
It surprised me how intense it was. And that's a thing I'm learning. So the company that built it is Schwarzkopf, is the name of the company.
Yeah, we've talked about
And
this.
we've talked about Schwarzkopf. Yeah. And they are known for how intense their loops are on their coasters. They're not in business anymore, but like back in the day, like that was what they were known for, was how intense their loops are. And they kind of were almost too intense, and so as manufacturers continued to do loops over time, they kind of backed off on how intense they are.
Interesting.
So you typically aren't going to find loops that are that, like, they won't push you into your seat as intensely as some of these old Schwarzkopf loopers. So there's one I'm going to get to try later this year at Lagoon. Lagoon has a bigger one called Colossus that we'll get to try.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think any of the other parks. No, I don't think any of the other ones we're doing this year have a Schwarzkopf looper. But if we do Six Flags next year or the year after that, whenever we do the Six Flags chain, we'll hit a few of the Schwarzkopf loopers in the Six Flags chain. So
there we go.
But that's the one thing I remember from that ride, is just like going through the loop, just being like, whoa, that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the ride's just kind of okay. So yeah. Next on the list is Comet.
So remind me, where did we meet Kevin James?
We met Kevin James on our Lightning Racer.
That's right.
Lightning Racer
Yes.
First trip.
Yes.
And every time we talk about Hersheypark, you always bring it up.
It was awesome.
Oh, yes.
Something I will always remember.
Kevin James at Lightning Racer.
He was awesome.
So yeah, but Comet is that's the wooden coaster that's closer towards the front of the park.
Yep.
It's kind of across the lake from Great Bear. Again, another one we rode the first time, but not the second time, which I was kind of.
I remember Ben's reaction on that.
that was the biggest coaster we got her brother on, and
he was done after that.
He was
done. He was like, do not do anything with me the rest of the day. He was not happy.
Yep, but I was kind of bummed we didn't get on that one the second time, because I remember it being really, really fun.
I really liked it the first time. Yeah.
Like, I've heard a lot of people, like, because it's ranked, just looking at it here, Comet is ranked at 224 and Lightning Racer is ranked at 146 overall in the whole country. But I rank Comet way above Lightning Racer.
You think so?
I think Comet is severely underrated and Lightning Racer is severely overrated. So
yeah, I could see that.
I have them both, basically flipped.
Flopped, yeah.
Like, Comet is just like very smooth for being almost 80 years old at this point, and like that one had that was just kind of an out and back layout, but it had some decent airtime. Has actually really good airtime towards the end of the ride. There's like those small little bunny hills as you're coming into the brakes.
I just keep googling at Ben's response. He was just like, get me off this.
Get me off. So I think Comet severely underrated. I think.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I think it's best wooden coaster at the park. So there's my 2 cents. And that brings us to Lightning Racer, which is probably my. I'm trying to think. What's my hottest take from Hersheypark? It's probably Lightning Racer. I Lightning Racer's fine. It's fun. I
I
will. I
just
will.
consider that another
I
like
will.
wooden
Yeah, I
coaster.
will ride it every time I go to Hersheypark. I don't hate it, but it's like I see some people rank it as like the seventh or sixth best wooden coaster in the country,
Which,
and I'm just like, I don't. I don't
I
get
don't
it.
get it. Yeah.
Like I've been on other GCI coasters now, like the one that I distinctly remember obviously is Mystic Timbers, and yes, I understand Mystic Timbers is a lot newer than Lightning Racer is, but man, Mystic Timbers is just so much better. Like Lightning Racer is just, it's kind of rough,
Right.
and I know it's over 20 years old at this point, but and so maybe some retrack work would help, but I don't see the appeal. Like some enthusiasts are just crazy for Lightning Racer, and I'm just like, it's all
Yeah, it's
right,
okay.
it's okay. I'll ride it one time, and then I'm like, okay, let's go ride something else. Though the best part about Lightning Racer is it never has a line
Yeah.
because the capacity is twice as much as any other coaster in the
Right.
park. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we met Kevin James at Lightning Racer too. So,
Iconic. We all were able to recognize him too, just because they ask you to take off your hat and sunglasses on that ride.
Hmm.
If you didn't take those off,
That's true. We wouldn't have
I
recognized
don't think I would
him,
have
so
recognized him.
that's
Because
funny.
he was wearing like basketball shorts, just a
Yeah, it was
simple
just super
t-shirt,
casual. Yeah.
a hat, and some sunglasses. They weren't even like expensive things like that you would think a celebrity would wear. And no, just hanging out with his
Yeah.
kids. So, anyways,
Yeah.
but there we go. There's
Yeah.
our celebrity meet and greet.
Next on the list is Great Bear. So the first time we went, Haley did not do Great Bear, but I did. And then the second time we went, we both did it.
I remember
So
it being kind of intense, but
it was better the first time than it ended up being the second time. And I don't know if that's just because of comparison's sake, because by that time I had been on a couple others like Banshee at Kings Island and Silver Bullet at Knott's Berry Farm. Great Bear is very good first half of the ride. Like the first helix off of the chain lift, and then the first drop into the loop, and then the Immelman coming back the other way, and then it does the barrel roll. Like you're just boom, boom, boom. Like the inversions are just one right after another. And then after that barrel roll, it just kind of meanders around and then does a corkscrew at the very end. So it's
right.
kind of a weird layout at the very end of the ride. The first half is fantastic, and
Right.
then the second half just kind of is finding its way back to the station. It's kind of trying to make its way back up to the top of the hill, kind of where the station's at. But it's still very good. I still have it ranked. Where do I have it? Oh gosh, I've lost it. I think it's the lowest ranked invert I have on here, but granted, I haven't been on all the inverts, so. But even as my lowest ranked invert, I still have it at number 35 out of everything I've been on. So still very good. Still very good. Oh, what do you remember?
Just like I remember like the inversions being a little bit intense for me. So, because there was quite a few.
Well, and I know you're not crazy about those over the head restraints, because it's got they have the ones like Wildfire has, the big bulky ones.
Right. Yeah. So that was something I was worried about. So I did need to take a break. I remember afterwards. So.
Next on the list is Fahrenheit. This is one I did both times. Haley has not been on Fahrenheit. She's just kind of worried about her vertigo acting up with going upside down that many times. Yeah. So I think someday you'll probably ride it, but we'll see. But The first time went on Fahrenheit 2 years ago, I remember being very impressed with it, and it was a lot of fun. Um, it has that Norwegian loop in it, which is totally unique to Fahrenheit, at least in the U.S. It is. So a lot of fun. The second time, I was not nearly as impressed with it. Again, just because of, being on other things by that point, but still a completely unique ride. Still something that I think is underrated a lot. It's ranked at number 90 in the country, which is 11 spots lower than last year. So even from last year to this year, I think it's just getting overlooked by people. I think, let's see, where do I have it ranked? I mean, I have it ranked at number 24 among my ranks, which is, I have
And this one's for Vertigo, right? The one that I didn't.
for, well, Fahrenheit. You're worried about because of your vertigo. But
sorry.
I have a comparison on here that shows like where, based on the CoasterBot rankings, where I should rank it. So CoasterBot rankings would say I should rank it at 26, and I rank it at 24. So not much higher than the average enthusiast would rank it, but I do think it gets overlooked a lot. So now we got our top three, the best three in the park, in my opinion, and everyone else's opinion, apparently. We got Candemonium first, ranked number 54 in the country.
I love that one. Was my favorite one.
I had a feeling Candemonium's your favorite in the park.
Yep.
So.
I could ride that one over and over again. I really like it.
Now, if I remember correctly, you like Candemonium more than Diamondback at Kings Island, right? What was your reasoning for that? Because I think the enthusiasts would enjoy to hear your reasoning.
I think it was just smoother for me. Like, from what I remember, I just remember liking the smoothness and I don't know.
As it should be, because it's newer.
Well, and because of its smoothness, I was able to enjoy the airtime, I think, more on it.
I think the only thing, I think I like Candemonium's layout better than Diamondback's. The only thing I wish Candemonium had that Diamondback has that Candemonium doesn't is the staggered seating.
Yeah.
Because I really liked the staggered seating on Diamondback and Intimidator.
That was just yeah.
Really, it didn't matter that much to you. I like the staggered seating because it makes the trains longer. So if you're sitting in the back, you'll get more whip over the first drop. But it's also just kind of feels more open, and I don't know, kind of a unique experience. So, but I love Candemonium. It's so I have that one ranked at, I keep flipping back and forth between my tabs here. I have Candemonium ranked at 13, which I'm going to guess is higher than, it's 10 spots higher than I should, according to the CoasterBot ranking. So giving some Candemonium some love here.
I liked it. I gave it love.
It's very good. Now, my favorite at the park is next on the list, and that is Storm Runner.
Oh, yes.
I feel like
it's such a toss-up because I really love Storm Runner too.
I feel like every enthusiast has that one coaster that they will just go to their grave saying it is better than everyone says it is. And I feel like for me, that's Storm Runner. It's ranked 34 in the country, which is still very high. And it's 3 spots higher than last year. So people, still loving on Storm Runner. But it's just barely out of my top 5 now. And it's my number 1 at Hersheypark. It's just so good. For me, the launch is part of it. I'm a sucker for launch coasters.
Oh, yeah.
As we know, we've talked about that before. That's why I love Powder Keg. It's, Accelerator's my favorite at Knott's Berry Farm. I'm a sucker for a good launch coaster. I really like
launch coasters. I have a hard time with Rock and Roller Coaster because it's a little bit rougher.
Yeah, Rock and Roller Coaster needs some track work for sure, but
I love the launch. I love launches.
Yeah, but so I yeah, I really love Storm Runner, and so I love the launch, super intense launch. Always catches me off guard. Like I think I'm ready for it, and just every time I'm just still like, it's just my eyes are still in the back of my head, just like whoa, this is so much more
Hmm.
intense than I
I
remember.
was so scared to get on it the first time. I was like, I don't know, Nate. I really don't
You
think I'm
were
gonna. I was freaked
terrified.
out.
You were
I was freaked
terrified.
out because when you like with powder cake, I feel like the launch, like you see the launch, but like because it goes up and over the hill, you don't really recognize how fast it's going
Hmm.
um, from watching it on the side. But like with like Storm Runner, you see it. Like
Hmm.
you see it go off, and it's fast.
Well, and we
So
talked about it as we were like, we looked up stats like as we were in line and stuff, and like not only does it go like 25 miles per hour faster than powder keg, but it gets to that speed faster than powder keg gets to its top speed. So
right,
like the acceleration is like, I
it's
think like
so fast.
almost
I think I
twice as
did gray
much as
out.
powder keg.
Yeah.
Is so intense.
Yep.
But then not only that, but like I really enjoy the rest of the layout too. Like yes, it's very short. It's a very short coaster, but
Mm-hmm.
the flying snake dive at the end of the ride, which is so like as you come, so you go over the top hat, and then you come into that like it's like you go upside down, and then you kind of make like a corkscrew out of the loop. Um, but then you like go up and you go into this barrel roll. But as you go out of the barrel roll, you keep going, and then like halfway through that second barrel roll, you make like a 90-degree drop down to the ground, and so they call it a flying snake dive, and I just that part of the ride is unlike anything else I've that inversion's not on
Yeah.
any other coaster,
It's
and so
incredible. It's a
it's
great ride.
such a fun moment on the ride. So I think it's the best coaster at the park. So all right, so that leaves us with the very last coaster to talk about, and that is Thigh Crush. I mean
Mm.
Sky Rush. All right, let's hear your opinion first.
No.
I spent some time gushing over Storm
Just
Runner, so
no.
just
That's
no.
just no. I don't know. You're right. It is the thigh crusher, and that took away the actual effect of the coaster for me. That's all I could focus on. So I feel like different restraints would make the coaster 10 times better. But for me as a general public member, I don't appreciate it because I just didn't like how the coaster actually made me feel. Like, I don't know.
um, I'm kind of I'm kind of in the middle ground when it comes to the opinion of SkyRush. So for those of you that haven't been on SkyRush, the way the restraints are is it like has these restraints that you pull down kind of up and over your head, but then it has two pads that kind of sit on the top of your thighs, and so that's kind of like your lap bar. And the the coaster is very much focused. There's no inversions. It's a 200-foot coaster, but it's very much focused on ejector airtime, like just launching you out of your seat. And so the fact that you have ejector airtime mixed with these big bulky restraints on your
Mm-hmm.
thigh is like it's just not very
It's
comfortable.
not. It's not comfortable. And again, like I said, like it just takes away. Like everybody says, "Oh, the airtime's wonderful." I couldn't even focus on that. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't even focus on enjoying it because it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So,
I very much enjoyed the ride. It was very good. It's in my top 20 in the country. I will ride it every time I go to Hersheypark. But it is not as good as other people make it out to be until they have more comfortable restraints. Like kind of just exactly what Haley said. Like I couldn't enjoy the layout as much as I wanted to because like the first half of the ride I didn't notice it, but as the ride went on, it became more and more pronounced till the point that at the end of the ride I was like, okay, this is starting to really hurt.
you're right.
And then then the ride finished. And so I just like I'll say this like this week someone posted on social media. I saw someone post on Twitter that they basically said, I think when Wildcat's Revenge opens, that SkyRush will still be the best part of the coaster, best coaster at Hersheypark. And this guy commented underneath it and basically said, well, it's not even the best coaster at Hersheypark now, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Someone, and I think someone else commented and said, why is Storm Runner closing?
Just people
And
love
that's
different.
exactly how I feel. Like SkyRush is fantastic, but I mean, I'm gonna go through my ranks here in a second, but it is not
Oh, was
a
I
top.
supposed to do a ranking?
I'm just gonna go through mine. I'm not, we've in the past we've done it where like we'll rank every single coaster, but you can just maybe give your top three.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess we'll just might as well we'll just hop right into that. So I'll give my rankings really quick, and when I get to my top three, I'll let you go, and we'll just alternate back and forth. So the bottom of my list is Jolly Rancher Remix, but it kind of my opinion was skewed because of how sick I got on it. So maybe that'll change next time. Then I have, let's see, I've got Trailblazer next, and then Wild Mouse. And I've got Wildcat on there, even though Wildcat's not there anymore. But that's where I would be putting Wildcat. Then I've got Super Duper Looper, and then Lightning Racer. So Lightning Racer is a lot further down than some people would have it, but and then I've got Laugh Track. Laugh Track ahead of Lightning Racer is going to get me some interesting looks. Then Comet above Laugh Track. Like I said, just love Comet. I think it's very underrated wooden coaster. So then I've got Great Bear after that. I think Great Bear is my number 5, if I remember, if I'm doing this math right, which makes Fahrenheit my number 4. All right. So what is your number 3?
Probably Comet.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you liked Comet that much.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. So
I would have pushed harder to ride Comet last time if I'd known you liked it that much.
just from my memory, like I
Yeah.
don't know. I know what my top 2 are for sure, but Comet was.
So wait, you like Comet more than Lightning Racer? Because I know you love racing coasters.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say so.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Well, that means my number 3 is SkyRush. So not only do I not have SkyRush number 1, I don't even have it number 2.
Yeah, because
So,
your number 2 is
my number 2 is
Candemonium.
yeah, Candemonium's my number 2. Yeah. So then, which would make Storm Runner my number 1.
Candemonium's my number 1, and
Storm Runner, your number 2.
yeah.
Yeah, Storm Runner, Candemonium. It's a good 1-2 punch. SkyRush, that's the thing that's I think so tough for me, is SkyRush really has potential. Like the layout is fantastic. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just put something more comfortable on the restraint.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like I would enjoy it if it was more comfortable, but it's not. So.
And that's the thing that's tough is I don't know. Maybe there isn't a restraint that would be comfortable. Maybe the airtime is just so intense that it doesn't matter what restraint you have. It's just gonna hurt.
I don't know.
But I feel like I don't know. Twisted Timbers has
intense
airtime and
restraints
Steel
are great.
Vengeance and like yeah, my thighs hurt a little bit after those two, but not like SkyRush.
You just need to RMC everything.
So is that your GP opinion for this episode? Is they need to RMC SkyRush?
It can be.
I love that. That should be a quote from this episode. Is just RMC SkyRush. That should
no RMC everything. It's not even just SkyRush. Just
oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it. Well, that is our coaster ranking of Hersheypark's coasters. So, just to give any final thoughts, I think Hersheypark is probably top 3 parks that we've been to so far. And
Yeah,
that's before Wildcat's Revenge. With Wildcat's
right.
Revenge opening, I've seen some people say Wildcat's Revenge could start giving Hersheypark a run for like Kings Island and Cedar Point, like as far as best coaster collection in the country.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see it too. You know, I think the only thing that Kings Island and Cedar Point have over Hersheypark at this point is they both have a Giga
Giga
coaster. That's
coaster.
exactly right.
Mhm.
Like so, if you saw Hersheypark do a Giga coaster
Which,
next,
I mean, let's be honest, RMC said that they wanted to build one,
mm-hmm.
so let's get on it, guys.
I don't know what's taking people so long to hop on the RMC Giga, but
I'd be all over that.
I would totally be too. So, but yeah, I loved Hersheypark. You know, it's been a lot of fun. It's killing me to not go again this year for Wildcats Revenge, but going 3 years in a row is just not. Just need to wait a little bit. So
Yeah.
probably when they open their next coaster after Wildcats Revenge, that will probably
They
be
haven't
when
announced anything though.
Oh no. So and they won't for a while. They'll ride the Wildcats Revenge train for a few years, and then start talking about it. Quite literally.
That was punny.
But yeah, whenever they announce another coaster, that'll probably be when I say, okay, we gotta go back. So we got some other stuff to do in the meantime, and yeah, I think that's all I've got for Hersheypark. Do you have any thoughts?
Like, something that I think a lot of people don't recognize is before you guys get into the actual park, there's the warehouse that's outside of the park.
Yep.
And the little dark ride that's outside of the park, you know, that has the tour. It's a very nice little dark ride tour ride. Like,
it's cute. It's a cute little dark ride.
Cute ride. And then the warehouse is incredible.
And
like,
that ride in the warehouse is completely free. You don't have to have a ticket to go into the warehouse or
right. And they give you chocolate at the end of the ride.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there you go. If you want some free chocolate and
go check out a dark ride, and
you know, if you're
low
in the
on
area,
money,
right? If you're like in the area and need something to do, like the warehouse and the tour of the factory is like really cool. So, and it used to be a running factory. It's not anymore, unfortunately. But
yeah, the factories are still in town, but it's no longer on Hersheypark property. It's now somewhere else in Hershey that they do all the chocolate. So
it's just sad because it used to be like really cool that the factory was like right there.
But yeah.
Oh well. I think it'd be cool to open it back up, but just for the nostalgicness of it. But I don't see that happening in the near future.
Nah, I don't either. I think they're pretty happy with just keeping Hershey World the same. That's what it's called, right? Hershey World?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I think they're pretty happy with Hershey World the way it is. So if you want Hershey merch too, that's the place to go. Not necessarily Hersheypark merch, but if you want Hershey merch,
right,
that's where you go.
There was some like
there's a little bit in there, but like you want Reese's socks, you go Hershey World, or you want like a Twizzlers hat, you go to Hershey World. Like that's just where you can get all kinds of candy merch there. So I will say the store that they have at the exit of the park with all the park merchandise, very thorough. Lots of good stuff in there.
Yeah,
I have 3 Hersheypark hats.
I went in there before you did, and I scouted out stuff for you. Yeah. Like, this is where you need to look. So
I got some. They don't have hats for the rides, which I wish they would have, because I would totally wear a Storm Runner hat. But I think your dad got me some Storm Runner socks, though.
You did get Storm Runner socks.
So that's second best to a hat, I suppose.
Socks.
There you go. So I don't think I've worn them though, because I don't want to ruin them.
Yeah, just display them. Display your socks.
Because like displaying hats, I don't think is
like
weird.
A leg
like a plastic mannequin leg and just hang it on the wall with the sock.
totally doing this for your birthday now. Happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Would you even hang it on the wall, or would you like do it so that the leg looks like it's sticking out of the wall, or like
No, you wouldn't even
kicks a
hang it.
hole in the wall?
You wouldn't
Like,
even hang it in the wall. It'd just be like a statue.
oh, you're getting a full mannequin.
Yeah, well, not even. It would just be like up to like your thigh.
Just the waist down.
No, just like up to like right above.
Oh, but you need one
kneecap.
for each leg, so would it just be two separate legs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like maybe make it pose like a certain way, like.
Oh gosh.
All right, this episode's getting weird. We better stop.
As long as we don't put the legs in my office at work, I think it should
Oh,
be okay.
no, what? Come on.
Can you imagine that someone walked in just
People have seen weirder things before, I'm sure of it. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for tuning in to our Hersheypark trip report today. So shout out to Hersheypark. Oh, one thing we forgot to mention. I'll just say this really quick. Hersheypark guest services, fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
When we went the first time, I think we've mentioned this before on a previous episode, but I'll just say it again. When we went the first time, the first day we were there, we got rained out so bad. Like we went on, I think, 2 coasters the whole day. And we were there a second day, fortunately, but they said, like, yeah, if you just take your tickets to guest services, you can get another ticket for later this year. Well, we were like, not sure what to do because we weren't going to be back again for the rest of the year because, you know, it's a long drive for us. And so we went to guest services just to see what they would do. And they were so gracious enough to actually extend our return ticket through the end of summer 2022. So that's how we were able to go to back-to-back years, was because they gave us that ticket to come back the following summer. So shout out to Hersheypark for just really being awesome to, you know, for us to come back. You know, and the first time we went, SkyRush had that major malfunction with their lift hill. So we didn't even get to go on SkyRush that first trip. And so them being awesome with customer service allowed us to come back and ride SkyRush. So just shout out to Hershey for being really awesome with their customer service and their guest services. So
yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I thought
sure.
they deserve some praise for how they handled that for us.
So
but
a lot of the employees I felt like were very, very nice, and I didn't have any complaints about any of the workers there. Like sometimes the workers can be grumpy and whatnot.
Yeah, but I never really got that.
No.
So they did an excellent job. So well, thank you for tuning in to this Hersheypark trip report. Like I said, we've got at least a Cedar Point trip report coming, maybe some for Kennywood and Carowinds. We'll see. So be sure to follow us here on wherever you're listening to this podcast. But also be sure to go and follow us on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle is just @AirtimeTraveler. You can go and follow us there and keep up to date on all kinds of things, you know, whether it be trip reports or episodes of Coaster Conversations, or you'll just be alerted whenever season 2 of Airtime Traveler starts on April 6th. So be sure to, you know, keep up to date on all those things by following us over on social media. And yeah, I think that's really all we have for today.
I think so.
So yeah, I think we'll just call that where it is. And so thank you for tuning in for this trip report, and we will see you in the next episode.